to offend you in a new Idaho news edition. I thought I would kind of give that a restart on YouTube. See if I can get people to go over to BitChute. I have more videos on BitChute.com. That's where my main video channel is. YouTube just sucks. So it's going the way of cable TV and purging all of the content creators that made YouTube so great. So join me on BitChute.com. Sign up. Yes, I know it's not the search and stuff. It's not as great as, the functionality is not as great as YouTube right now, the app. But they are working on it. There's just a handful of people on BitChute. And, it's progress. And at least you can speak freely. So I thought I might do this again. Just kind of cover a couple topics here and there. Of Idaho news. A lot of it won't be as interesting as some of the clickbait news I do, but if you do live in Idaho or kind of want to know what's going on, I guess this is kind of a sneak peek. If it does get popular, I'll cover a lot more stories in Idaho, so let me know. All right, let's get to the stories. State Senator introduces Add the Words bill in Idaho legislator. And there she is. So a Boise Democrat, Senator Mary Ann Jordan, introduced Add the Words legislation as a personal bill in the Idaho Senate last week to include the word sexual orientation and gender identity in the Idaho Human Rights Act to bar discrimination on those bases in employment, housing, and public accommodations. Jordan's bill, SB 1226, is co-sponsored by all legislative Democrats in both the House and the Senate. Idahoans and their families are desperate for the legislator to add the words, Jordan said in a statement. Protection from discrimination in employment, housing, and public accommodation for all is a human right. She added, while several cities across Idaho have ordinance prohibiting discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity, all citizens should be protected from being kicked out of their homes or being fired from their job regardless of their gender or who they love. And why not also put in for people that wear the MAGA hat, too, getting kicked out of restaurants? Several cities across Idaho that have ordinance prohibiting discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity. All citizens should be protected from being kicked out of their home, blah, blah. We just read that. The proposal has been brought forward every year for over a decade, but has never gotten out of the committee. The pleas of the LGBTQ Idahoans have been ignored by the legislature for too many years, Jordan said. I am committed to protecting the lives and rights of all people, and in order to do so, Idaho's Human Rights Act needs to be updated. Adding this language to Idaho's anti-discrimination law would help to eliminate the fear of retribution in the workplace or sudden unexpected homelessness. I will continue to support Add the Words legislation until all members of the LGBTQ community in Idaho are protected by our state laws. Listen, adding that language isn't going to eliminate fear of retribution in the workplace. All it's going to do is empower the LGBTQ to use the language and laws against us. Governor proposes funding for inmate reentry center in Twin Falls. Now, we've covered this before, and that the bill that was supposed to be passed didn't get enough votes, so they're trying to think of alternative ways to house inmates, which I believe we have too many people in prison. I guarantee you, if there was no money to be made in the prison system, we wouldn't have this problem. I guarantee it. Governor Brad Little has proposed a $2.7 million in funds to help aid in the community reentry center that is under construction right now in Twin Falls. The center was open years ago, but the program eventually had to shut down, and now it will reopen in the same location, a place many drive by on a daily basis. In the governor's state of the state address, he acknowledges that 2/3 of Idaho inmates who are in prison because of probation or parole violations. It's ridiculous, the nonviolent crimes people are locked up for. This is a taxpayer issue as well as a public safety issue. We must address our growing prison population in new ways, Little said. It better be in good ways, Governor. Part of his address was a proposed $2.7 million given to the Idaho Department of Correction to hire staff and cover general expenses in the Community Reentry Center located in southern Twin Falls on Washington Street, where the Victory Home used to be located. Josh T. Walt, the director of the Idaho Department of Corrections, told KMVT how he feels about the governor's proposal. I think the governor has I think the governor has shown great leadership by saying, look, we either invest in things we know are going to help people to be successful in our communities, or we just plan on writing a larger check next time, DeWalt said. Captain Doug Hughes, jail administrator for the Twin Falls County Sheriff's Office, also tells KMVT what he thinks about the governor's proposal. As far as money goes, I think that's probably a good expenditure, said Hughes on the state's part, so that maybe they can open up beds for the people they have housed in county facilities and get some of those people moved out of the county facilities and moved up to the penitentiary. The reentry center is expected to open in October. Center residents will be able to work at businesses in the community while living at the center. The next step of the reentry center and of these extra funds will be available comes down to whether or not the proposal is approved by lawmakers, which is expected in February. Officials remind Idahoans about radon testing. January is Radon Awareness Month, putting you first. KMVT has what you need to know about the gas. The Idaho Department of Health and Welfare said in a press release that 2 in 5 homes in Idaho have higher than recommended radon levels. Radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer behind smoking, causing an estimated 21,000 deaths each year in the U.S. Radon gas forms from natural deposits of uranium and radium in Idaho soils. The gas enters homes and buildings through gaps and cracks in crawl spaces and foundations that have been found in every county in the Gem State. Andrew Petula, general manager of ServPro, explained how common the gas is. Normally in the Magic Valley, we don't see it too much. We primarily see it in the Wood River area. However, we have had customers with higher than normal EPA-regulated radon levels in Twin Falls, Petula stated. According to the EPA, the maximum acceptable level of radon is 4.0 parts per something liter. I don't know. I'll have to look that one up. But even that level is not safe per se. The EPA strongly recommends you consider radon mitigation between levels 2.0 and 4.0. For perspective, the average outdoor air level of radon is 0.4, Petula explained. The Idaho Department of Health and Welfare recommends getting a home radon test and says high levels can be fixed by a licensed radon mitigation professional, which can be done by ServPro. All right, it's called picocuries per liter. So, according to the EPA, the maximum acceptable level of radon is 4.0 picocuries per liter. Okay. So, I think that's the last one of Idaho. I'm starting the Idaho News again, Idaho News Edition. Listen, if you want BitChute exclusives, I do a lot more videos on bitchute.com. I'll leave a link in the description. Check that out. Cover a lot more stories and more detail. So yeah, YouTube is purging people. So it's becoming cable TV. So go to BitChute if you haven't already, and I will.
Councils for the majority and the minority of this committee.